What is up, everybody? It is Trash Panda here, and welcome to a new series for Mist Survival. So, this game is in early access. They just recently pushed through a new update, and it's been a game that I purchased quite a while ago. For whatever reason, I never got around to playing it, and when I saw they pushed through a new update, I did decide it was a good time to go ahead and start a new series. So give me a minute, we're going to load into a new game, make sure our settings are good, and then we'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. I did want to cut the recording because loading into a new game does take quite a bit. I'm not sure if that's just because it's early access or what the situation is there. So once you get loaded into your map, it does set up what seems to be a couple uh, default spawn points that there's a possibility that you could spawn at. And then it just goes straight into the basic tutorial here. So, of course, this game does have fatigue, stamina. There is food bars, which even though it doesn't outline it here, there are food, thirst, things like that that you have to be mindful of. There is shelter management, so you can basically, I would say, some of the homes are set up where you can kind of claim them as your own base, and those homes will be kind of partially built out. Some furniture items you can pick up as you're roaming around the map and actually carry those back to your base and install stuff like generators, which will supply power to the home. There are mist events, which is basically similar to the name, where the fog kind of rolls through the map. And with the fog, the zombies will kind of follow that. Also, the zombies are out at night. If the fog is out during the day and the zombies are roaming, and then the fog leaves, the zombies will basically catch on fire when the sunlight hits them. There is a green mist, which is basically hazardous. The game does start you out with a gas mask. You do need to be mindful to only use this when you're in the green mist because the filter for this drops down pretty quickly. There are things like heat and wetness that you have to deal with. You can get bows and craft arrows. The quiver, in my playthrough, I did not see an option to craft that, so I think you have to find that. There is some gun customization, so if you pick up a firearm, you can add attachments, suppressors, different grips, stuff like that. There is just some basic resource gathering that you've got in the game. You can do fishing for food, and then there are kind of like nests or hives in the game that you will have to kind of go through and destroy as well. So that is the gist of the tutorial. Let me double check here. Okay, because my last playthrough, the key bindings were basically blank and I had to go back and reset those up as default. So we do start with just a little bit of inventory here. So interesting. So last time we did start with an axe, so now we've got a combat knife. Uh, and I don't think there's really any ways to see stats on the item itself as far as the melee item. So we'll just kind of start out here slow, going around and looting some items. So we'll grab that rope. And when you're looting, let's grab this card and just kind of bring this back to base here just to keep everything a little bit closer. As you're out and looting, some items that you loot, so like if you loot a container, it will give you the option to loot all. So when you loot all, it does basically start a countdown timer, and it takes like, however many seconds in real time. However, in game time, that takes about a minute. when you craft items, there are, what was that? Oh, okay. So you can destroy some in-game items. So like if I had my hatchet, I could destroy this wheelbarrow and get scrap metal from that. Uh, Now, when you're creating, crafting, and installing items, there is a longer timer. So let's see. Oh, nice. Got a bat. A field tip. Okay, so that's just an arrow. So I can't do anything with that. So I'll just carry that over. Let's drop the rocks. When you are installing items, all right, sorry about that. Let me see. Is there anything in there? Why is my, I don't know. Okay, my cursor was just kind of pointing as if there was something. We don't want that. Nope. We don't want any of that. Is he gonna come in this door? Ooh, okay. Yeah, we don't want any of that big guy there. So let's run kind of out of vision of him. Typically, so the trailer here, typically nothing is going to spawn inside of that. So once you get a vehicle, then you can go through and attach that to kind of have like a small mobile base. But there's no point in, going out of your way to run towards one of those and loot them. And now I did do a playthrough earlier, and I was not on this side of the map, so I'm not really familiar with if there's anything over here. Some of these houses and towns and areas that you spawn into and around will have enemies, uh, and we are in no point to try to tango with a group like that. No, we don't want to pick that up. So let me see. So I can kind of show you here as far as the way that time works in this game. So like if I take off this tire, it's going to take like 10 minutes, and it'll let you know like, hey, this action will take 10 minutes. So I mean, real life it takes like 5 seconds, but it does just kind of count down if you saw the game kind of progress quickly there. So we don't need that. We do want to kind of just be on the lookout for these vehicles though. So you can open the doors. Sometimes there'll be items inside, like there'll be firearms, baseball bats, stuff like that. Obviously, as you can see, there is kind of, for vehicles, the need for batteries and engines. I have not, like I said, I just did a limited playthrough, but I did not come across a engine yet. So that's going to be something that we're really going to want to look out for. Let's equip the hard hat. What can we drop? I don't want to eat that quite yet, but antibiotics. Okay, we can come back for that. And do we check? Okay, so nothing there. So I thought I already had one of those and thought it would stack. That's why I picked that up. We can craft. I don't know why we need ketchup. We can craft Molotovs, so that's why you would want to gather those empty bottles. So we're good on that for right now. Yeah, so starting out, inventory is an issue. Did I not pick that up? Is that what it was? Was it matches? Okay, I thought it was ammunition. Lighter fluid. Don't think we need mustard, so. Yeah, so there are plenty of condiments and salt if we start cooking and we get very hungry. Alright, so nothing to loot in there. Let's move back over to this guess like a general store here. So interacting with vending machines does require coins that you can pick up in game. Man, let me run back over here and where was our base at? Over here, yeah. Let me drop off these few items that I picked up. This is our base. No. Oh, over here. Okay. Yeah, so you do have a map in game, but the problem is you have to pick up a pencil to be able to kind of mark your location and keep track of where you're going, which obviously we don't have yet. So let me just drop all of this. I don't need the ammo now because obviously I don't have a firearm. We'll leave that food behind since we don't really have enough to, or our stats aren't low enough where we need that quite yet. So yeah, obviously another game where kind of loot management is a big thing here. To my knowledge, there are no like backpacks or anything like that that you can pick up in the game. However, there are some other solutions that you can use for loot management, and I'll show you that once we kind of come across one of those. Definitely want that. So food. Booze, I guess we can grab that for now. We'll need batteries. Another protein bar. There we go. Nothing else there. Grab these cans. And we are already full. I feel like these should stack. Like, yes, I understand that they've got a percentage of health, but I mean, okay. Let's go up here, see if we can find a container. Can put that there. Let's see if this baseball bat has better. Yeah, so that one's 100%. This one's only 60. So we'll drop that one once we get something else that we can kind of put in that firearm slot. Just empty bottles. We're not going to be doing any farming short term. I'll leave that ammo there. Since this is so close to base, we can come back. Alright, perfect. Here's a trunk that we can kind of use, and so that answers that. We will be going back for that revolver ammo. So let's shift all of this over here, and what was our, no, that's 2. We'll load up that little bit of ammo that we got and then go back for the rest of it. I'm going to be kind of stingy on the loot that we pick up, since we are very limited on space and a bunch of this stuff does not stack. We'll grab these arrows now that we have our trunk there. And so what you do is we can either open or move. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to move. So as you're running, so let's say if a enemy was to come up to me and I needed to pull out my weapon, I can just left click to throw it, and then it goes back to the last weapon that I had out. This is perfect. This is what we want. So these containers also can move, but you've got plenty of slots, and that had a hammer in it. Nice. So I'm gonna want to come back for these, definitely, because as we can tell already, the inventory here is getting rough. Let's grab that and throw that in here. Fishing line, okay. So I've gotten fishing lures in the past, but I do not want to do that again. But I have not gotten the line before, and I'm assuming since there's lures, you don't need bait. And then you can get, man, I'm starting to sack up on food, that's good. So I can get lures, I can get fishing line. I have not come across, I don't know if I actually need a plate or if that's just like a trash item. I know you need like pots and pans and cooking stoves, so that's everything. Yeah, I don't need an additional bat right now, and we don't need any of those bottles. Let me turn off my flashlight now. We will grab that duct tape. Is there anything else in here? What was that? Oh, just empty bottles. Store. Oh, so is that like a crate that I can store my bottles in? Interesting. Might come back for that as well. So our base was on this side? Yeah. But that's okay. We've got a little bit of space. I don't think there was anything. We did want to get some painkillers though, right? So, oh, so we'll need the matches. We need the sugar for cooking. I know I already went through these, but now we can pick up this stuff that we definitely need. Yeah, so like that, I did not want to do that. That lighter fluid was a good pickup. Anything under the cabinets? And there was nothing back here. Okay, cool. Now, I know there was, what was it, painkillers? Antibiotics. There are painkillers somewhere. Were we able to access the back part of this building? Okay, I guess we were. I wonder if I already grabbed the painkillers. Okay. Not that big a deal. So now we need to kind of figure out. So I guess we'll be going up to this house. So I'm going to take this container back to base here and drop it off. And then empty out my backpack. And then we'll go and grab another container. And now that I've got these containers, I'll probably go ahead and carry some of the ammunition with me, just in case we come across a firearm outside of the revolver. Alright, so let's empty this out. So we'll hang on to that. We are still good on food. Oh, I thought I completely filled out that empty shelf. Did I not? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so we don't need to carry the hammer with us. I'll carry the arrow. I mean, we've just got two. And I don't think you can use those straight out of your backpack. I think you need a quiver to be able to use that. We did get, so what is that? So that's rifle, 7.62 and revolver. Okay. No, so we're not quite at the point where we need that yet. We'll carry it though, since we're going to be picking up another loot container up here. And this was huge to be able to find those three up there. Now, as far as loot goes in the game, I'm not sure if it's random, if, you know, most of these items are fixed into the game. So, like, if you come in your playthrough and you come to this exact area, I don't know if you'll be able to have these here as well. And later on, because, well, I don't know how long we'll stay in this area as far as our base, but we might come back and grab the bottle carrier. since they have that in game, I'm wondering if empty bottles do not stack, or that may be something that you need. Let's drop that right there. That may be something that you need after you turn it into Molotovs. So like maybe Molotovs don't stack. Let's do, no, actually let's do the baseball bat. So I don't think we'll come across any zombies or anything inside of the buildings. Or actually, I stand corrected. I do remember in our last playthrough that going into buildings, even during the day, there is a chance of zombies being there. So we do want to be mindful. So we've got just a body of water down there. I'm trying to see if I start to recognize the area that we're at, because during my last playthrough I was able to, oh, can I, oh, I just hit the wrong button. Okay. Spray can, sure, why not. During my last playthrough I was able to find an area that had a lot of, oh, okay. I think this is the nicest vehicle I've seen that you can actually use. So we will be coming back for this. Yeah, so I can put these containers, lay them in the truck bed here. Just make sure, yeah, there's nothing in there. Okay. So there's plenty of paint. I do need to drop the paint that I've got because obviously there's plenty of that and I don't need to be carrying that around at this point. So let's drop those paint cans back on the ground. We'll go ahead and throw that stuff in a container before we move on inside. So you can siphon fuel from vehicles. It looks like you cannot siphon them from gas pumps though. Bottle. Alright, grab those coins. Screwdriver. More batteries, nice. Okay, so we can't equip that from the ground. We've got to equip that from our backpack. So yeah, this is us. We are pretty much butt naked except for our hat and our rain jacket. So very stylish. Bandages, okay. Ooh, nice. So they don't have an inspect feature. Okay, that's fine. We will throw that back in. Oh, that door was blocked from the outside. I remember that. What else did we see there? Oh, that was the bottle behind the area there. So let's move. What's that? That's 12 gauge. Now that we're carrying this with us, we will actually just leave that in there. Because I don't see a situation where, you know, if we pick up a firearm, we won't be able to run back to this. And it's not like we're going to need it instantaneously. But as soon as I say that, things might get hairy. Alright, so nothing around there. Some cola and some booze. Nothing in the door. Okay. It's decent ammo in there. Empty bottle. I do hope there is a better flashlight that you can get in game, because this thing is not the best. Alright, another hammer. Oh, it looks like it's starting to get kind of misty outside. Yeah, I don't know if it's quite bad enough where the zombies will start to come through, but I think it might be. so we'll use this knife up before we switch to a better one. See, like, these colas, I feel like those should definitely stack, right? And you can, so like if you saw the chair when I highlighted that in the building, you can kind of sit down and rest, which will pass time forward. I think in my last playthrough testing, I had to sit maybe 3 hours to kind of have the fog roll through. And I think we may do that since we don't really know where we're going to be going next. Let's just move this in here and shut these doors. I don't think the zombies can open the doors, but it looks like you, alright, so they shouldn't be able to get by there. So let's open up the map, which is, okay, so that is key binded to K instead of M for map, which I don't know why. So I wonder if we could be right here since there is kind of like this little pond behind us. But also I don't know if that pond is truly big enough to show up on the map. So that could be misleading. Yeah, because it's definitely not big enough to be this. And I mean, unless this is on the other side of the mountain. Let me see. But I don't think so. I think this is where I spawned in my test playthrough. So we could be right here, or we could be right here. So we kind of want to figure that out and then get a gauge of where we want to go. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I think I can craft a pencil. So let's go into our crafting. So we can pick up a branch and craft it into a stick, which you then use for other things. You can craft rope from tree bark and leaves. You can basically dry your fish meat. So, oh, I need charcoal. Okay. So I don't know if there's a chance that I can pick up charcoal or if I physically have to start a fire to make that. If so, we have matches and lighter fluid. Would fire be under food? Oh, I guess that's a mortar and pestle. Okay. I thought that was like a food dish. Case with blade. Okay, so that's like a kind of like a excuse me, a handsaw, I guess, for making wood planks. Yep, so we've got no quest. Yeah, so I think we're going to kind of rest this out. Oh, that... Okay. Alright, that's odd. I don't think there was a bed upstairs. So I think... Oh, there is. Okay. Let's do 2 hours. Alright, perfect. So the downside to that is, as you saw, our food and thirst did go down, which is fine because we picked up quite a few items here. So some food items obviously will increase or improve your thirst. I feel like that did nothing for our hunger. Alright, so I guess we did not pick up any other food. Let's just go ahead and drink though. Alright, and then we will move this. So the body of water is here. And then the road kind of splits off. I do have to place this down first before I can open my map. So, body of water. So this is a 2-lane highway. So, I'm going to guess that this is the 2-lane highway. So there's a place right there and a place right there, and then the Paradise Motel. So it says I can add a marker, right? But I don't have a pencil. Okay, that's odd. So I can put marks on the map. Interesting. Alright, so let's do that because we think we're basically right there. So there's a building on this side, which is the building that I would assume we're in, and then this building, which is that building right there. Alright, so I think we figured out where we're at. So then if we come up here, do I want to go back? No, I think we'll be okay. It doesn't seem like that far of a run, and I would say that is the Paradise Motel. Yeah, I think I'll go back and kind of do some transference of loot containers and stuff off camera. You guys don't need to see all that. I know there are zombies in here. Yep. You just saw them running there. Can they see me, or are they just randomly running around? So that gate's locked, so they can't get out, assuming that they're not going to run up here. So let's see if there's anything that we can loot around here. Can I jump over the hedge? I cannot. I can kind of halfway climb through it though. Okay. Alright, so here's another vehicle that we can put together, and again, no engine, nothing inside that we can loot out. If we had a plastic bottle, we'd be able to get 4 liters of gas out of that. And now that I know where we're at, there is a base up here to the left that does have some hostile enemies in it. And again, I don't know if there is a possibility that any of these vehicles will have an engine spawn in them. So far, it looks like they do not. And then, so like this vehicle, from a distance, it looks like, hey, that's a vehicle that has 4 tires installed. But as you get closer, yeah, you see the front tires disappeared. So now it only has 1 tire installed. So just be careful if you're playing through and you get your hopes up and you see something like that. Equip that. Grab that. Now, I wish it told us what we need to do to unlock these. I don't know if there is eventually something that I can craft that will allow me to open those spots up. Well, I mean, our bat is at 100%, right? Yeah. So we're at 100%. Another revolver. We'll grab that since probably need to take this raincoat off, right? I think that's what's causing my heat to go up there so bad. And we'll see if that starts to kind of go down. Can I pick up that rope? There's something over here I can pick up, or that I should be able to since my mouse kind of triggers. I don't need clay. I feel like I should be able to pick up that rope there, but I can't. Can't open those. What is that? Wood scrap, okay. Yeah, so there's a zombie trapped inside of that gas station, so, uh, am I full? I guess so. Yeah, that makes sense. So there's a zombie trapped in the gas station that we don't really want to really tango with yet. I mean, I guess we could. We've got the bat. We don't want to shoot, but I feel like we're far enough away from the motel that they should not be able to hear a gunshot, right? But then also we want to save the ammo if we come across any, I don't know if they're like raiders or what they're called. There is something over there that we might want to go investigate. So none of that looks, come on. Yeah, it's going to take me a while to get used to that button as a loot button. I'm assuming that firearm is empty. Yeah, so all my coins, all my stuff comes flying out because I accidentally hit the loot button. This screwdriver, I think that's everything because we had our rifle in there. Yeah, let's put this in the top shelf there and throw these items in there and pick you up and come back over here. So as we make our way down this road, there is a roadblock that does have quite a few good items. However, I'm not sure if, did we check that? We did. I'm not sure if everything, as far as loot goes, if that's going to be kind of random, if it'll repopulate in that area. Don't think there's really anything around there that I can loot. Alright, so let's see if we can check out, what is that, clay? We don't need clay. Yeah, we'll go into the gas station here. Because maybe we gotta go in the back door? Oh, you know what? I think this one you have to interact with that to get access. Or can you go? Okay, so you can go in the back door, you just can't go in the front. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Cola, another screwdriver, coffee beans, okay. We'll be brewing some coffee here. Cola, bottles, powder detergent, Pepsi. Can't imagine how much powdered detergent I would need. Propane bottle, want that once we start kind of cooking. A filter. So stuff like filters, that goes into like vehicle components. Maybe that one doesn't. Oh, because that's an air filter for our mask, not an engine filter. Okay, gotcha. Well, I don't know. I don't know how fast certain things will break down as we start crafting, so we'll hang on to the screwdriver for now. But these do stack. And I think that generator, yeah, that generator needs to be on to open those. So I'm not sure if there's an engine in there. We can eat something. I feel like we haven't picked up any food items. Now we're good on thirst, but let's go ahead and we'll eat this. And then we'll see how far that puts us up. Alright, so now we need our rain jacket again. And it will be such a nice come up once we get our vehicle. So, pretty sure this base here is the one that has some hostile enemies at it. My previous playthrough, I obviously didn't know there were enemies there. I ran up to it, I jumped the fence, and they all had rifles. I had like a stick in my hand, so I did not last long. Alright. So stuff like this, so obviously we can carry this, we can't interact with it, it's not a storage barrel. So I'm pretty sure once you get a base set up, that will be something where, you know, like, hey, if I want a fuel storage system, I'll need to track down some of these barrels and use that in my crafting. And some more ammo, very nice. Also, we'll want to remember this is another place to get a container. And further on down the road, there will be a pretty nice house that we're going to want to set up as our base. So we're not going to be, you know, just kind of homeless forever. That's not far down the road at all. Actually, I don't need that. Yeah, I feel like that candy bar did not fill me up much. One of these days we'll get lucky and there will be an engine in one of these vehicles. Nothing there. Okay, I saw the hinges on the door and I thought it might have been something, but it's not. Alright, so that's everything for here. Let's grab... So, I have another thing. I thought I had more sugar in here that I was going to try to stack on, but I guess not. Alright, so bandages do stack. I don't think wood... Okay, so that'll stack to 9. So some things seem to stack at about 8, like this. So different items definitely seem to carry different stack sizes. So that'll take a while to get figured out. So that, I thought I had 6 and 3, right? But it's stacked to 8. So, I have to keep an eye on that. So 7 and 7 stacks to 8. What? So am I just losing those items if I try to stack them since there's not extra room? So if I do split half, yeah, so I mean, I just lost, no, stop. Yeah, so the stacking needs some work, obviously. And I wish it would not dump everything out of the loot container. I wish it would just not give it to you. I feel like we definitely lost something there, but it is what it is. Alright, so let's pick this up and then So that's their base. There is a, well, there's actually two little areas back here. So this tent is another area that is a potential spawn point for you starting your game. So let's throw that down. Open that. So we'll grab that. We don't need another saw, right? I don't think so. Put you there, and then we'll drink that. Alright, that helped out a lot. There is a zombie roaming somewhere in this area that we need to be mindful of. Meat stew, very good. Painkillers, right. No engine, no battery. More cars up there. So we could do this as a temporary base while we alright, yeah, I don't think there's anybody in here. Okay. So yeah, we can do this as a temporary base while we get our other loot containers and bring them over here to kind of slowly start migrating them back to where our primary base will be. Let's just put you inside. Right there is fine. And can you hold anything else? Yeah, let's hold that shovel. And then all of that is fine. So I do know there's another zombie locked in this building as well. Last time there was like a hatchet, yeah. And then I think there is a bow that either always spawns or has the potential to spawn in here. We'll keep the bat out for now. Alright, so he didn't have anything. Those are not lootable. Turn on our light. Canned fruit, okay. Starting to get some food items there, which is good. Don't need firewood just yet. Grab the duct tape because I feel like we've got some of that can stack. Rifle ammo. Some more arrows. We need to find a quiver if we're gonna want to use the bow. Maybe the bow does not spawn every time. I feel like I came through this building twice and there was like an area that I missed where this where the bow was sitting at, and it was like right in plain sight. I don't see it though. Here it is. Okay. So the bow. Let's put you right there. So we got two broadheads. So if I switch to the bow, do we got to do like a reload for R? Yeah, so it's showing ammo is 0, so I don't think you can use the bow at all without... that's fine, we'll leave it there, it's not that big a deal. You can't use the bow at all without the quiver. So that's the next piece of the puzzle that we'll have to find. And then at least we'll have we'll have 4 arrows. There was a cabin over there which did not have much in it, as I recall. I think it had like a fishing lure and just some miscellaneous items. So I don't think, as of right now, that's worth the hike over there. Alright guys, well I'm going to go back to our initial spawn point and kind of collect some of these storage bins and move them over here so we can kind of prep ourselves for moving over to the next area. So hang out and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I was able to, grab that, excuse me. I was able to go back to our kind of prior base there and gather the loot that I'd left there. So that is good. We are one step closer to getting to our new place. We do want to grab that pot. So if there's anything else we want out of here. Yes, we want the container. I don't know if we need the bucket, but we'll grab that just in case. And that can open. Okay, so I think, can I use, okay. Can we use for containing water? Alright, so let's drop that. I want to see if carry. Okay. I wasn't sure if we could fill up the water here. See how my cursor highlights, like it gives me an option to do something with the water, but excuse me, I don't see anything there. Or I wonder if it might be clipping through the wall to these burners. That could be the case. So either way, we've got everything that we need out of this place. I do want to obviously grab that. That just looks odd. Okay. Alright, so we're going to E to move. No, did I? Okay. Oh, E to, okay, F to move. Gotcha. Now, while we were back at the other base, as you can see, there was a cart, which for some reason I thought this was a log cart, and you could only put logs on it. I grabbed our container, started to walk away. I was like, you know, I should try to see if I can make this work to get one trip out of it. And sure enough, it does work. However, I don't know if I want to be able to put this other container on it. When I tested, like I put these wooden crates on top of the filing cabinets, and they stayed static in that spot on the map as I rolled away. So I had to go back and pick those up and actually kind of place them on the cart itself. So like for example, if we do that and place that there and then move cart, or we have to mount cart to move it. Okay, so that time it does stay. Interesting. Well, that's good to know. So we have plenty of storage now. I did grab a couple tires because they were basically on the way. So I figured, you know, might as well go ahead and grab those. What is that, a hammer? We'll pick that up. Alright, so yeah, so this is where I believe we would connect the generator if we had a generator here that we were using. But especially now that we have this cart, how much firewood does that give me? Alright, so that was a stack of 7. Nice. Yeah, I know there is firewood back at the other building, but it's just a few pieces. I don't think it's worth going back for. So now we've got our cart, and we're going to continue down the road to the next building, which is right up here. I don't think we, yeah, I'm pretty sure we did not loot this one, because we were coming down from this direction, and we went off into the woods before we got to that building that has at least 3 bandits there. So we did want to bypass them. So let's just park over here and see, make sure my stuff is still there. So grab some parts. So this is a trailer that we could connect to an ATV. that you do have to basically assemble the AT. Well, you have to assemble the tires. I think for the ATV, it does not require an engine or motor that's already installed. Just kind of do a once over around the exterior. Now, as I was coming back from collecting the loot from our prior area, the battery in my flashlight did go dead, and it was getting very dark outside, and the zombies can roam around at night. So I did end up sleeping uh, at one of those buildings that had a bed. So I know we've got a flashlight battery. Can I open these drawers? I cannot. I know we've got a flashlight battery in the inventory there, so I need to go ahead and grab that and install it. I think that's everything. I do need to start gathering some sticks so I can build a torch. So when we are out at night, we'll have that. Yeah, let's just throw all of this stuff in here for the time being. Yeah, because we got some ammo there as well. And then no. Yeah, I did not want to do that. Oh, because I didn't put it back. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, breaking that habit of pressing the F key to exit out of inventory, it's going to be hard to break. So I think that picked up everything that we dropped. Just make sure, yeah, I don't see anything else. So we can just put that in the second drawer here. And so, are the batteries in this box? No. Doubt they're in there. What was in there? Oh, nothing. Nope, I didn't want to mount. No. Am I crazy? I thought I picked up like 3 or 4 batteries. So I guess we only got 1 battery. So equipment, right? No. Alright, let's get out of the inventory menu and then go back. So equipment is that, tools, flashlight, and then we should just drag and drop that threw it out of my inventory. Hey, oh, okay. So material required 1 out of 2 batteries. That's annoying. Oh, so it's physically seeing what I've got in my inventory. Gotcha. Okay, so I don't have enough batteries to charge that unless I have some anywhere else. Did I check all of these? I think so. So we've also got these drawers over here. And then we can replace our battery. Yep. 3 minutes to replace 2 batteries. Okay. And then put you back. So that is everything here. We'll mount our cart and continue along the way. So now later on we will want to kind of do more exploring kind of off the map and in the woods. There are a bunch of homes kind of tucked away that will have lots of goodies, but however now we want to stay on the freeway here that leads through town. I will go ahead and pick up that stick. And then I'm going to just kind of put this in the middle so I don't have to kind of keep picking it up here, and then I'll run back and grab that car. I guess, however, since most of the cars are over here, I should have dropped it and then just grab that single. That's fine though. It opens, and we can't do anything with that. Doesn't have anything in it anyway. And this is close enough to our base, even though this has, did I not open the hood? I did. Maybe I shut it when I walked away. Even though that has 2 tires, there is a pickup truck back where we started. So that's the vehicle that I want, because that was in very good condition. So if I do find an engine and a battery, I'm taking all the tires I can grab. I'm taking the engine, the battery, all of that stuff going back there. Nice. So I mean, a 1911 is going to need 45 ACP, and I do not have that. I do have a couple rounds for the 9mm, but I think right now the revolver is going to be the most ammo for a firearm that we've got. I don't think there's going to be any enemies in this area. We'll find out. So nothing there that I can pick up. I'll grab that. What is this? Rags, rope. We don't need clay. Well, oh, okay, so there's the house. I thought it was further down. But yeah, so this is the house that is going to be like our kind of primary base. So nothing up there. You always want to kind of check the tops of these roof areas. So there's a generator that we can carry over to the base if we need it, which I don't think. Or actually, maybe that base does come with a generator. Yeah. What is in there? Scrap metal. Okay. There's nothing in that truck. Okay. Some floating rags. I'll grab that. Can I? Oh, I didn't think I'd be able to do that from that low down. So nothing on top of this building either. Okay. Clay, more clay. Okay, let's take the loot and drop it off at the base, and then we'll explore this next episode because there's going to be a lot there to kind of unpack. Yeah, I think that's the best game plan because otherwise we'll be making multiple trips and it'll just be a lot less efficient. Alright guys, so this is going to be our house for the foreseeable future. As you can see, there is a little camper trailer here that we can pull behind once we get a vehicle up and running. And that'll be nice because then we'll be able to kind of drop our filing cabinets in there for storage. We'll unload this and I'll show you a quick preview of the house before we end the episode. So in my last playthrough, I went through all of these containers, and so all of the cabinets and everything in here is basically completely empty. So there's no need to loot or anything like that, but as you can see, it's got lights kind of throughout, so it's wired for electric. We just have to, I think we just have to add the generator, like I said, if it's not already there. But it does give us plenty of rooms with storage space. Alright, so maybe that's the only loot in here. And yeah, so it's nice that it's got some built-in storage so we can unload some of those containers that we've got, leave those spare tires here, and kind of fill this place up with inventory as we continue along our journey. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for this first episode, which works out good because the fog is rolling in. The ATV is over there. We will be exploring that next episode. And then also, nice, we got a pretty decent sized garage here. A little workbench area. Very nice. We do, okay. I did not realize that we had all of this stuff, so we'll just go ahead and bring this in here and then get in the house for the fog, or for the mist. Alright guys, well yeah, please leave any comments in the comment section. If you have any questions about the game, I'll be happy to do my best to answer those for you. And also if you want to see us do anything in particular, we can do that for you. And then, let's see, okay, I was wondering if I could open that blind, but it looks like I can't. And we cannot go down into the cellar either. So yeah, like the video if you have not already, subscribe, and until next time, hope you guys have a good one. If you had as much fun watching this as I did playing, consider tossing a little something in my Ko-Fi jar. You can grab a coffee to give a one-time boost, or even become a Trash Panda partner or a Trash Panda looter for reoccurring support and to join our crew. Thanks for your support and for being part of the Trash Panda family.